best friend to measles is really now the brand, the Kennedy brand, unfortunately. Obviously, the most powerful Kennedy these days is undeniably RFK Jr. He just canceled nearly $500 million in mRNA vaccine funding back in January. JFK's sister, Carolyn Kennedy, called RFK a predator, and he was unqualified to lead the HHS and addicted to attention and power. How do you deal with the legacy the family deal with the legacy might now be RFK Jr. over someone like John or
well, that's why we made the magazine. We made the doc, is to remind people that there was some elegance with the Kennedys.
He's undermining everything that the Kennedy family stood for. Really, everything on every level. I knew him well, him and his wife Mary. I spent a lot of time with them from the time my husband died in 1999, also until for a decade. And honestly, I can't reconcile the person I knew who was fierce environmental advocate and always, he had that weird thing about roadkill. Always.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Did you eat any of it?
No, but he would pick it up from the road all the time and leave it in his minivan, and sometimes he'd forget. It'd be like a skunk under the seat, and his minivan always smelled of death. But other than that, weirdness. Yeah. I just can't reconcile who it is I thought I knew from this person that has appeared now on the scene, and I just don't know. I haven't been in touch with him since Mary died, and that was sort of the breaking point for me. So it would be unfortunate if that was the legacy. I feel like their legacy is so powerful, though. Their brand is so powerful from the 60s and 70s.
So there isn't. Everyone who is so powerful is not living. John or his father or anyone else, right?
But are they going to remember history? It's hard to write in the present. Are they going to remember RFK as
If millions of children die, certainly.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
You're right.
Or vaccine.
Yeah.
Measles is back. Best friend to measles is really now the brand, the Kennedy brand, unfortunately.
I got my measles.
But you got Timmy Shriver with his cause has done great work. Caroline Kennedy's written really important books, on First Amendment right of privilege.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like the Kennedys haven't contributed mightily to
I think once
society.
Trump is out of office, I don't know, there'll be some sort of
rejiggering.
Reset.
Although after he dropped out of the race, the Trump campaign released a memo hailing it as a win for Republicans and saying that every single state RFK Jr. vote breaks for President Trump. Trump seemed to understand. He knew about celebrity politics, the links with the Kennedys, and what it would mean for him, right? Why do you think Trump's and RFK's political brands, which are opposite in so many ways, work so well together right now?
Extreme policies that appeal to extreme people.
Yeah.
It's kind of
he really made his mark going being an anti-vaxxer. That was his whole thing. My feeling is he had exhausted everything he could possibly write and talk about on the environment, which I think always was his true passion, at least when I knew him. And then it was almost like a money thing. So how you're going to switch, and now you're going to write 10 books on pharmaceutical companies and vaccines, and that just became it's almost to my head, it's like a business move.
A grift.
Yeah. And,
grift,
grifters see grifters.
Right. That's a really good point. So, Carole, you just had a reunion with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live after years of feuding with him. We now have you did. We now have I pay attention. We now have a reality TV as you noted, Celebrity is President. And as a former journalist, you worked for ABC.
Yes.
Former Real Housewife of New York and a member of the Kennedy. You understand every angle of this story, the intersection of politics, pop culture, and politics. What would you say your insight to power and celebrity is right now? And what's your takeaway a quarter century after his death?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's a complicated question. My reality show experience is totally. It's just totally separate than anything I could imagine that I would want in politics. In fact, on that show, Real Housewives, the year that Trump was running during the 2016, I was very, very against him and was very vocal about it on this show, which never had politics on it before. I even said that he was I mean, I called him a buffoon. This is in 2016. I mean, I was pretty vocal about it as much as I could, and Bravo, to their credit, aired it all. But I don't know, it doesn't seem to have an impact. Like, you know, he went on to win. I think I'd like to come back to a time where politics is a little more boring, to be honest. It's boring.
Noble.
And noble and something to aspire to, or some people to look up to. It's almost like the president is like a role model. Like, it doesn't... Like,
Do you
we
see
don't
that happening now? Given you've been in all these areas, it's moved more towards Real Housewives
Yes.
than it has.
No, I don't see it happening now. In fact, I just heard a rumor. This could be totally made up, but one of my former cast members is considering like getting into politics in
There you
Palm
go.
Beach.
Right, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, and I think if she did, she would win.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, what?
Have you ever considered it?
Carol. Love that idea.
No, I feel like well, I used to say I curse too much, but now everyone's cursing. No.
Like you're birthing
No.
the Carole Radziwill.
I know, right?
political career, right
For
here.
Senate, right, for Senate.
I think I'm too much of a hothead, but I don't know. You know, I want my
That's
She's
politics.
not saying no.
Hello.
She's not saying
None
no.
of these things.
I'm-
Not saying no. That's what sort of what Kennedy did, like John
Exactly.
Kennedy did.